WRI, the World Resources Institute that I work, we did some research on how much of global CO2 emissions are actually still under the Paris Agreement, even after the withdrawal of the United States. And while of course it is bad news, still about 90%, nearly 90% of all global emissions still fall under the Paris Agreement. It does mean, of course, however, that the relative share of both EU and Chinese emissions in this overall percentage has become more important. And that also means that I think in the global governance of climate and of combating climate change, it will become more important, the leadership of both China and the EU, and if they can do it together, they'll be even stronger, I think.
And what's the significance of China-EU cooperation on green transition for both sides and the world?
The last European Commission clearly made the green transition a very important part of Europe's economic development. And of course, this European Commission is faced with very different challenges. At the same time, it is very clear that the green transition will continue to be an incredibly important part of Europe's economic development. We are expecting Commissioner Hoekstra, who is responsible for Europe's climate policies, to announce on the 2nd of July that the EU will have an ambitious target for 2040. We hope it will be 90%. And so this clearly shows that Europe sees competitiveness and the green transition as the same. And I think for China as well, you clearly have, but I will not dare to speak so much on behalf of China, of course, but what I've seen from China is that you also very clearly have made this green transition a cornerstone of your future economic development. And therefore, I think if these two very important economies, these two very important markets also, join forces in also setting the frameworks for the rest of the world, through their trade relations, through their bilateral relations, but also their relations with other parts of the world.
And what role do you think that China can take in shaping global climate governance?
Well, I think it's part of what I initiated in response to your first question. I think, relatively speaking, with the US stepping aside, there's now only two big markets, basically, that drive this entire transition. Europe has been driving it very clearly from a political point of view. I think China has combined both a very strong political and a very strong economic drive in this transition, and that is only becoming more important. I think both Europe and China also have that responsibility coming from the place that we now hold in the world, and China growing so fast, and your economy being so strong, especially also in the development of these clean technologies, to make sure that the world also has the technology and has the ability to move forward and to drive development. I think without the large-scale developments that China put into, for example, decreasing the price of solar panels, or this fast innovation that you have in electric vehicles, the transition would not go as fast as it goes around the world.